Let's do this. Oh, hey, we are live.
We're live.
How are you this morning, sir?
It is a beautiful Saturday morning to talk about some Dragon Drive.
I'm telling you. Well, guys, welcome to the Drag Driver Pete News presented by Summit Racing for September 28th, 2024. Bro, the year's flying by. It's
Yes.
flying by. We're going to take a deep dive into Super Week, the Drag and Drive events from last week. Redwood Rally, Race Week, Hot Rod Drag Week all happened the same week across the country. We're going to dive into car counts, class records, and some interesting numbers from these events. Mr. Eric, hit that intro video and let's get this thing kicked off, dude.
All right, let's do it.
Well, guys, like I said, welcome to the Drag Driver Pete News presented by Summit Racing for the end of September. Man, I can't believe this year is flying by like this. My name is Mike Narks. I am the host of this news episode that you're watching now and the Drag Driver Pete show. And I like to say that we are your source for news and entertainment from the Drag and Drive community. I think I've been saying that for a long time. Mr. Eric White, my RHM, a right hand man. Tell them who you are and what you got going on, dude.
I am Eric White, the co host of both the show and the news. And right now, what I got going on is trying to make my way through 10,250 photos from Hot Rod Drag Week. Bear with me, guys. I am working through them. It's going to take a little bit. That is way more photos than I've ever done. So it's taking me a little bit to get through those.
Yeah, lots of really cool stuff in there, though. I'm telling you, if you guys are not following Eric on Facebook, you need to do that. Find his, professional profile, Eric White, on Facebook, and just start looking. He posted kind of some teaser stuff. I hope we get some more of that, man. That's what we need as you're working through all of those and working through the albums that will be on the Drag Drive Repeat page. I look forward to seeing all of those. And guys, on that same note, there, I'm almost done with the day 3 video. To be honest, I don't know how I did day 1 and 2 while at the event. I I I
Hy-
took I took 200 videos on Wednesday alone.
Yeah. Hyped up on adrenaline, man. That's what when you're
Yeah,
at the event, that's all you think about. When you get home, there's more to do.
there's so much more, especially with the Midwest and the Tulsa and all that kind of stuff going on. Well, let's get into this thing, guys. We can't do this without you guys. Did you know that? I didn't know if people know that are watching this. So do me a favor, hit the share button as we jump in here. I just want to say thank you for being our race car friends. Thank you for all the support you guys give us. It means a ton to us as we're working through all this fun stuff that comes along with this. And then thank you so much to our sponsors. We can't do it without them. They make the travel and equipment purchases possible. Summit Racing, Molly Motorsports, Driven Racing Oil, Car Chains 3D, Wife Racing, who has a new product out, by the way, we're going to talk about here in a minute. Performer Built Transmissions, J Wire Solutions, Howard's Cams, Sweet Patina, Power Tube TV, and Racing Junk Classifieds, which also has some products here at the end. It's gonna be a fun show. I'm telling you guys right now. Get ready for it. Well, Summit Racing's speed legacy began in 1968 as a one-man operation and is now the world speed shop with 4 facilities and 200 plus catalog editions. They fuel your passion. They save you money. They deliver fast and offer top-notch customer service for more than 1,500 brands. Make sure to download the Summit Racing mobile app for easy access to speed parts. Find them on Facebook, YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram, or on the On All Cylinders podcast for more automotive discussions, kind of like what you got going on right here. From humble origins to the social media lane, Summit Racing stands by your need for speed. You can find all of it at summitracing.com. What you got to try and find, though, is this. Bro, come on.
Yeah.
Eric got some great shots of people wearing the Drag Drive Repeat merch at Hot Rod Drag Week. I just want to say thank you so much. Thank you for your support of us through them. Right now, this is the only place to buy Drag Drive Repeat apparel that you can wear. Now we do have some stickers that are available on the website, which is dragdriverepeat.com/store. So we've got a couple pictures here, 12-inch decals, and we got to update these pictures because we have the red, white, and blue decals in stock now, and we have some holographic race car friends, and I know that one's going to blow out of there. So that's my plan for this afternoon is to finish those up. Yes, so we have 6 and 12-inch in these decals, and then we also have the little bitty ones there. I love that. I say little, dude. They look so cool on some trailers. Like this trailer here on the left is Sean Alsop, who just got done with Redwood Rally. Love that deal. And then so he's got the red ones because it kind of matches up. And then the trailer on the right, I can't remember whose trailer this is. If it'll come to me after we say it, but the white decal looks cool. This is a 12-inch decal on the right and a 6-inch on the left. So you can pick those up $5 and $10. Again, those go to help us make all of the events, provide more content, look at hiring some freelance photographers if we're not going to be at an event. Those help kind of us cover all of that kind of cost and stuff. So appreciate you guys again. Dragdriverepeat.com for decals and summitracing.com for your merch right now.
Yes, sir. And then we got our post of the week that we've been typically doing on Saturday mornings. For Summit Racing, this one was yesterday. They said, "What is the best car color?" So there was 255 comments. As I scrolled through there, what do you think was the most common one that I saw?
Probably black.
That's what I would have thought. That's what I would have said. But what I seen the most was actually plum crazy purple, which kind of
Oh
surprised.
my gosh, you Moparians, the Mopites.
For me, it's black, either gloss or flat black. That's kind of my jam on my cars is just
Yeah,
black.
no
That
way, man. White.
Johnny Cash look.
Yeah, Johnny Cash.
For you?
White, dude, because it's so much cooler temperature wise, and that's what you need in a hot rod, dude. I'm telling you, if you're doing dragon drives and you're driving a black car, just ask Jonathan Stonecipher, who's probably going to be in here in a little bit. The Black Nova is brutal, brutal, brutal. But these guys in the white car, I bet there's 20-degree difference inside the car. So
Wow.
whatever dragon drive car I end up building, probably a 73 Nova, it's going to be white just because it's so much cooler. Yeah, you can lean on that thing at 4 o'clock in the afternoon on a 90-degree day. You
Yeah,
can't do that on a black car.
that's true. That's very true. Everything in my car is black. Dash, like everything. So
Oh yeah. And hey, look, looks amazing. I love it. Looks amazing. So anyways, all right. Well, cool. Well, let's move on, dude. Let's get into this show, man. We're 8 minutes in. I do want to say thanks again to the Get Tracking Network. On Wednesday night, I'm going to be doing a full unboxing. We just don't have time on the Saturday morning show to do the unboxing. But I won this thing. I said it on Wednesday night. Thank you so much to the Kakalaki Run team for hosting this drawing. And basically, the way you got entered was like the post, comment by tagging a friend, and then like and follow the page, which obviously I do. And then, of course, I'm sharing most of everything that they post out there. So Sharon and Jared Klauster are running Kakalaki Run, which is the newest week-long drag and drive event that will happen in March 2025 in the Carolinas. So this is going to be a fun one. I think it's Rockingham, Darlington, and Virginia. I think something like that. I can't remember off the top of my head, but
yeah,
that's going to be a great event. I intend to be there. It's the week after my birthday, so I think that's how I need to celebrate, right?
there you go. Which is probably right before the circuit too.
Oh yeah, yeah, for sure. It's the weekend before the circuit. So
Oh man.
bring it on, bud. Bring it on. And the circuit's the weekend before we kick off for the Midwest Drag Race Series 2025. So be 3 hard weeks there.
Oh yeah. All
Well, let's
right.
jump into the Driven Racing Oil event update, sir.
All right. Driven Racing Oil is the performance engine that can do it all. GP1 is the ultimate oil for any race or performance application, whether launching hard at the drag strip, enduring the extreme heat of off road and circle track, or pushing limits in top fuel drag boats and demo derbies. Winning racers choose GP1. Compatible with engines from classic hot rods to cutting edge race machines, GP1's unique surface cling and high zinc formulation ensures superior wear protection, particularly for flat tappet camshafts, while solving issues like cylinder washout with methanol and ethanol fuels. Crafted from the legendary Bradford, Pennsylvania base oil, then enhanced with state of the art additive packages, GP1 offers the best in protection and performance. You guys can follow Driven Racing Oil on Facebook and Instagram at Driven Racing Oil, or you can head over to their website and get your oil or merchandise at drivenracingoil.com.
Yeah, please do. Those dudes are amazing, man. I love Driven. The team at Driven is what makes me want to buy all that oil.
Yeah. All right. So currently, One Guy's Garage Drag Weekend is going on. They are going to Byron today, which again, right down the road for me. Um, so this is going to be day two. Did you see that Tom Hogshed is attending after
Dude,
just finishing Hot Rod Drag Week?
I love it, man. I love it. He's been making some posts about being there and stuff, and I think it's really cool that I'm listen. Everybody knows he's long time. Like he was '05 Drag Week, been there
Mm-hmm.
since the beginning. So for him to kind of start getting out and doing stuff, that's a huge deal.
Yep. He said on Facebook that it reminds him of the early days of Drag Week, which is super
Yeah.
cool.
Yep.
And then we also have Joe Haney on site, in the white Nova.
Hmm. Yeah, I'm
So
excited to see him there in the F Cancer Nova. That's going to be a really cool deal. He actually messaged me the other day asking if we could use some content. And I was like, dude, we'll take anything. You'll do pictures, videos. I don't care, whatever it is, we'll take it for sure. So hopefully we can come through with some of that.
yeah,
Trevor Brandon, where can we find the top 100 this year? Yes, that is coming. The hardest part is trying to get all of the data from the events put together and on the same sheet. So that should be out this week. That's my plan, is to get that out by Thursday, to have it all completely updated. It seems like every time I've been real close on it, it's like, oh, well, there's an event coming up next week or the 2 weeks after that. So I'll wait till after that. I am waiting on Redwood Rally to send me an Excel file now, so I don't have to manually input all all of their data. So we should be pretty close. Like I said, Thursday, that's kind of my goal, to have the top 100 out. And then the points are going to take me till the week after that because it's going to be too tough. And, to be honest, I may wait till after 666, just because as of right now, the races are close, but I don't know if there's enough room there if somebody attends Southeast Street and Yeet to overcome. Oh, well, actually, probably, yeah, they could probably be in the top 2 or 3. I don't know. I'll work on that as I can, I promise. I promise.
I can see the wheels spinning in your head thinking about it
Man,
already.
there's just not enough time, dude. We've got a bunch of huge events coming up for Tulsa Raceway Park. We've got a big event for Tulsa Speedway. We've got the World Finals for Midwest Drag Race Series. We've got our stuff. We've got 666, which I'm going to be on, which we'll talk about in a second. Like the next 4 weeks for me is pretty intensive. Well, let's talk about Back to the Streets 2024, because I have some serious FOMO right now, y'all. There's I know I go through this every time I'm not at an event, but y'all, this one looks like a blast. There's a ton of like long time drag and drive guys that are there. A lot of guys that just came off of Drag Week, like uh Rob Ambrose is there. Matt Walters there. He didn't just come off a drag week, but Matt Walters there. Love that dude. He's awesome. Steve Willingham is there. Sadly, he's out, but he just got done with race week
Mhm.
and ends up at Back to the Streets. I'm sure those guys are loving having events that are closer to the house. Brandon Cirillo is there. Adam Hodson, and a ton of other friends that we have, race car friends that we've made over the years. Um, this is a cool one. I'm interested to see how, like, Brandon Cirillo and Steve Willingham and Rob Ambrose like this format, because it's obviously heads up. So you race heads up 2 times a day for, to set the winner and loser bracket that's going to come in on Sunday. I mean, it's really an interesting format, and I'm excited to see how those guys like that. But also, and I apologize for not doing this yesterday. The live stream is up on Motor Mania TV, so I know what I'm going to be at least listening to and watching later today.
Yeah.
After we finish this show, I'm doing that. That's all it's going to be played on either my phone that's going to be in my pocket while I do yard work, or on the TV in the house.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Speaking of this makes me very happy when I see these comments. I love this, Robert Voss. Listening to this in the shop this morning is equivalent to watching the Speed Channel as a kid on Saturday mornings. I absolutely love hearing that. Thank
Yeah.
you so much for that.
Yeah, that's kind of the goal really of the news was the entire time it's been a thing has been that to give you guys an opportunity to listen to some fun stuff in the morning, but also I mean, we're really the only spot that you can we're the only podcast that's dedicated to drag and drive 100%. There's a lot
Hmm.
of other podcasts like Adam Dory interviews people that do drag and drives. Um, and that's on Tuesday nights. Love the Adam Dory That's Cool Drink podcast. That's a great one. So if you're not already following him on Facebook and YouTube, please do that. And then there's a few that kind of hit some stuff in drag and drive, but we're really the source, man. Source for news and entertainment from the drag and drive community. Me, 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 me. All right. Well, good luck to everybody that's racing right now. Back to the streets and One Guy's Garage Drag Weekend. Good luck to you guys all weekend. I hope you guys run personal bests and let the tongue hang out of that thing because are you going to be racing anymore this year? You know what I mean? Enjoy the street drives and all that kind of stuff. And
Yep.
then, so we talked about the live stream, Motor Mania TV. You can see it right there on the bottom of the screen. Please, if you're not going to watch the live stream now, please go subscribe to that channel. Matt Walter put this together of Walter Racecraft so that Motor Mania TV would be out there and live streaming this. This is a big deal. We want to have them, show the support for those guys. And then you heard me say it earlier, 666 is coming. We will be, uh, will you be hosting any winners? Yes. That's kind of the plan. We have not done a great job. The hard part is like, when Eric, you know what? October, let's do our first hangout and let's just invite a bunch of winners from the last few events and do like a 4-hour Friday night live stream. I'm putting it out in the world right now. Let's do that. Let's uh let's just host that sometime in October. We don't know when, maybe the end of October as we kind of have that stall period of a couple weeks. Let's plan on that. Okay, you're hearing it here first. We're going to run through a bunch of class and event winners sometime in October. The hard part is during the show we have 2 hours, so you have two guests, 30-minute and a 1 hour guest, and then all the updates, and then the news doesn't really have time for guests. So it's pretty tough because we're trying to cram through all this stuff. All right, 666. This is a big deal. I want to give a huge shout out to the Driven Racing Oil team. They approached us about doing this a few months ago. I think we were actually at Six Summer when this went down. So they want interviews, basically. They want conversations with racers done during the event. So we're going to do that. So I'm actually going to set up live streams during the event from the Driven Racing Oil truck. So I will be heckling the crap out of people as they walk by to go to the lanes, to walk to their car, to go get food, whatever. So if you are going to be at 666, please, the first 4 days, plan to come by the Driven Racing Oil truck and talk with me. Let's record this thing. Let's put it out into the world. Let's tell people more stories. So we know there's going to be a live stream for that. There always is for the big events like this, but this is going to be a small one. This is going to be like we did at PRI. So people are going to come by. I'm going to hit the go live button. We're going to jump in. We're going to tell a story, 2 or 3, 5, 20 minutes. I don't know, whatever we want to talk about. And then I'm going to hit end. And then the next person that comes up, I'm going to hit go live. And we're going to do it that way all week long. That's kind of my plan. Well, the first 4 days, all week long. So I'll be Springfield at Ozark Raceway Park. I'm don't know if I'll be at Mocan yet. That's I'm negotiating with the wife right now. And then I'm also going to be obviously at Tulsa, and then I'll be Thunder Valley and Amarillo, and then I got to bounce because we got a Midwest Drag Race Series event. So we're going to do that all of that time. Rich Guido says, "Cool, hit me up. I'll stop in." Dude, I didn't know you were doing 666. Let's go, buddy. That's going to be awesome.
Yeah.
All right, we got to
Sounds
get
like we
rolling,
got
man.
sounds like we got your first interview there.
Yeah, yeah. Just plan on it, Rich. Just come on.
Uh,
Dude, tell us about this.
yeah, this just got released. I think was it yesterday? I believe
Hmm.
yesterday is when it came out. Obviously, we attended the Havlic's Fastest Streetcar Shootout this year. They already have everything set up for 2025. So as you can see, August 14th through 17th will be the Havlic's Fastest Streetcar Shootout at Cordova Dragway. So,
Hmm.
a couple things to note about that is cruises are back. The drag and drive shootout for small and big tire. There will be night racing and a pro street tribute is being added. So, super excited about this one. We had a ton of fun at this one this year. It's looking like next year is going to be even better.
Yeah, I'm excited about this. I think I've said excited 47 times in this episode already, but this is going to be a really cool event. And I think we're going to see this again, 3 days up from a single day. So now we have time to do some partying. We have some time to hang out with some race car friends. I mean, I guess it's really 4 days, 14, 15, 16. Yeah, 4 days. So the first day is probably tech and a little bit of testing. And then from there, it's on. This is going to be a cool event. And again, huge shout out to the Havlik for bringing this back. I mean, this is a big deal. 30 years without, as a tribute to the first one. Now, this fastest streetcar deal ran till the early 2000s, but this is a big deal. This is going to be really, really cool. And a lot of historical cars came out for this. So I can't wait to see all those guys that missed it last year. They're coming back this year. You know they are. Or they're
Oh, I'm
coming this
sure.
year, not coming back. They're coming. All the guys that came are definitely coming back.
Yeah. Yeah. I think everybody had a blast at that one. So,
Yeah. Yeah, I'll agree completely. Well, let's talk about this, dude. This happened just before the episode, just before the news kicked off. So at 8 a.m. Central, 9 a.m. Eastern, Sick Week went on sale. Sick Week 2025. It is sold out.
hmm
It gone.
yes.
So bring it on. I can't wait to see the list of cars that are coming this year. I'm telling you, we say it all the time. This is the fastest one. This is where everybody's going to set records. This is where everybody's going to go the fastest. This is where just the tracks, the DA, the all the stuff that's there works on it. I can't wait to see if we have some guys that make the move from big floppy tires over to radials.
hmm
And then are there going to be guys that make the switch from radials to floppy tires to go down there and lay it down?
So it looks like we got Trevor Brandon got in, Brian Lum got in with two cars. Sportabout Garage is in with the Ute. Man,
Nice.
and we say it all the time. If you didn't get in, sign up for the wait list.
Yeah. Yeah.
You got to do that.
Plan to be there. I mean, that's the soapbox here. Listen, if you want to do this stuff, nobody's turned anybody away day of, but you've got to get on the wait list. That's the biggest thing with the sick week, especially because last year they were saying they wouldn't take people on the day of, but 2 days before they were pleading with people that, hey, we're through the wait list. Come on. So listen, if you're planning, go just if you want to be there, get on the wait list and plan to be there. Like that's the whole thing.
Yeah.
Just make sure you're there. So it's going to
Yeah.
be a good time.
If you want to be there, be there.
Yeah, I mean, so big shout out to Driven Racing Oil for the events updates. Let's move into the to the car chain stuff here, man. I'll tell you, Corey has been rocking it. Car Chains 3D should be your first choice for custom 3D printed parts for your project car. Corey can take your idea to reality. Maybe you're looking for that special car guy gift that they can't get anywhere else. Well, Corey can produce a one-off keychain for that special person's car and a hat. You guys see his little hat up there. It's got Car Chains logo on it. He can actually put your car on there, but also he has a ton of other products. We're going to talk about that here in just a second. So you can find more at carchains3d.com or on social by searching Car Chains 3D on Facebook and Instagram.
Oh, yeah. So he posted that the side panels for the third gen Camaro and Firebirds are done. So these are going to be awesome.
Yeah.
Also, so yeah, those are the third gen ones. Looks great. Love that like carbon fiber look and everything too.
Mm-hmm.
So very cool there. These are his roll bar mounts, so you can use these as dome lights. Um, he actually stopped by Milan and hung out with me for a few minutes. Wasn't too long because obviously he's a busy person. So
Yeah.
I have one of the roll bar mounts, the single light ones. So this is going to
Nice.
be in the Fox body, and I think you can see that as long as I'm far enough back here.
Hmm.
We've got cup holders for the TCI shifter for the Fox body.
Yes, that's great, man.
So, and these look super nice. See if I can get in there. You guys can see his
Hmm.
logo right on the front there. Um, all they do is just slide on. They're obviously a tight fit because you don't want them coming off, but
Yeah.
they snap right on there. Pin goes through it, and I've got cup holders. So,
Yeah.
big shout out to him for stopping by during Hot Rod Drag Week and again hanging out for I don't know, it was probably about half hour maybe. We got to stand around and chat for a little bit and drop those off for me. So big shout out to Corey.
That's awesome. And of course, the cup holders are going and the lights are going in your drag and drive build. The Mustang that has gone from drag only car to now he's
Mhm.
putting that thing on the street. So it's exciting.
Yep. Yep. I'm excited.
Yeah. Yeah, that's going to be a good one. Well, let's talk about some super week stuff, man. And
Yeah.
I did this little photo because I wanted people to kind of understand how how the country saw Drag and Drive this last week. Obviously, huge events. Three 822 total cars. Absolutely crazy. I did some math. This is pretty close. 800,000 U.S. street miles driven by Drag and Drive racers during the Redwood Rally Race Week or 2.0 and Hot Rod Drag Week. And I figure 800,000 is also with the drag pack, the road week, and the vagabonds during the super week as well. I just can't believe. I mean, dude, 800,000 miles minimum. I
Yeah.
mean, it's probably more than that. Probably more than that, but 800,000, that's crazy to me. I love that.
Yeah. And that, I mean, that's the goal of all this, right? Is to get
Yeah.
race cars on the street, people enjoying their cars. And when you have a week like this, you definitely hit that.
Yeah. Yeah, that's for sure. Well, run us through some of the tracks for drag week, sir.
Yep. So Drag Week started at National Trail in Hebron, Ohio, then went to Lucas Oil Raceway in Indianapolis, Indiana, followed by US 131 in Martin, Michigan, then to Milan Dragway in Milan, Michigan, and then back to National Trail back in Hebron, Ohio. And again, two route stops each day in between there.
Yeah, it was pretty crazy. This isn't the exact route, obviously, but this just jumped up from Google. I mean, y'all, this is a big part of the country here, the Midwest area, right there. As you get into all of the racing, all the big tracks that can handle those kind of cars, but also look at all the area that was covered by Drag Week. Pretty amazing.
Yeah.
And then Race Week, completely new part of the country for them. Obviously, they've been in Texas before, but typically it's just that run from Tulsa to Ennis back to Oklahoma City. But this time they went towards Louisiana, which was really cool to me. As Bryant Goldstone showed us in the past, they've been to Louisiana. Drag Week has been to Louisiana in the past, but I think there's like two or three new tracks for Race Week that went this time 1,100 miles, dude. This is pretty cool. That's a bunch.
Yeah.
The just I mean, look at how close they were to New Orleans. You know,
Right.
like that's pretty south. That's pretty far south. So Pine Valley Raceway Park in Pine Valley, Texas, Texas Motorplex in Ennis, State Capitol Raceway in Port Allen, Louisiana, and Twin City Dragway in Monroe, Louisiana. So pretty cool, man.
Yep. Absolutely. Uh, Elkhart, Indiana, Goldstone
Mm,
Automotive. Shout out. Yep, that was a great stop. It was definitely cool to see all the cars there.
yeah,
And Rich saying hot and humid race week.
I guarantee it. I guarantee it.
So moving on to Redwood Rally, it looks like that was about 877 miles. Started out in Medford Dragway, went to Samoa Drag Strip, then to Coos Bay Speedway and Woodburn Drag Strip, and then back to Medford Dragway. So again, 877 miles is no small feat there. So
Yeah.
So what did
Yeah,
we end up total with? That's got to be close to 2,000. Was about 3,000 miles.
pretty close,
Three.
2,900 miles. What was drag week? 880 or 890, something like that.
I think with route stops, it was probably closer to 1,000.
That's awesome. Maybe 980 then. I can't remember. There's something in there. I had it written down, but I can't find it in my notepad now, so I don't know where I wrote that.
Yeah.
But yeah, you start figuring 3,000 miles plus all the mileage to get there. It blows my mind, man. It really blows my mind. Flights, I flew into Chicago. We drove 500 miles just to get there, and we're just
Hmm.
meeting. So,
Right.
Eric,
Right.
Eric had 1,000 miles just getting to and from the event. So that's almost 2,000 miles that you would have driven that week. And that kind of leads me into what is up next on our stuff here is the stats.
Yeah.
So,
These are pretty cool.
yeah, I want to go back to this. This is a like next level of thought as you guys are talking to sponsors, as you're talking to your local track, as you're talking to local cities and things like that of where you're going to do this. So this is just rough numbers. This is not exact at all, but I figure if 70% of racers during these three events book hotel rooms that average $100 a night, okay, that's the key because I don't know of many in at Drag Week that were 100 a night. We stayed in one of them, but I did not suggest that. $287,000 in hotel rooms for drag and drive racers across the country. Like,
Hmm.
so call it 3 or 350 is probably the real number. That's pretty amazing.
Yeah.
Maybe even almost 400,000. So,
Yeah. You want to talk about stimulating the economy. I mean,
yeah.
drag and drive racers put money into cities that week.
Yeah, 100%. And as I become more involved with Tulsa Raceway Park, these kind of things are super important for a track. So as you're looking at tracks to bring to this, start kind of doing that math and show these local cities how much that is. So I looked at food.
Mm.
$50 a day on food is probably, I don't know. That's probably a higher end than what we would typically spend. But if you start figuring in the $12 for every fuel stop, that's probably not crazy. So 50
Right.
bucks a day per person, 1,400 people, because there's 822 cars. Surely that's about 1,400 people when you include drag track and vagabonds and road weekers.
Well, you got to
That's
figure co-pilots too.
Well, that's why I was thinking 1,400 because that would give each car isn't going to have two people. I don't know what the count is for Road Week and Vagabond and Drag Pack. I don't know what the count was for those folks at any event, but 1,400 is probably pretty close. Let's say
Yeah.
for 1 week. $50 a day on food. That's $400,000 in food across the country. Dude, that's a stimulation right there. And
Right.
I would say most of the time we're eating at locally owned establishments. There's
Hmm.
times where we're going to eat at Waffle House, which is nationally owned, but a lot of the Waffle Houses, even though they may be a chain, are still locally owned. Just the
Yeah.
same way as like Chili's and Texas Roadhouse and all that kind of stuff. Those are locally owned by somebody. It's not necessarily a corporate location.
Yeah, and
This
probably
one,
50% of that food is just gas station,
oh yeah,
snack and grabs.
listen, I know we spent 30 or 40 bucks a day just on snack stuff every time we stop for fuel or whatever. Um, Fuel, this is kind of neat. I figured $100 a day is probably a decent average. 2 tanks of gas. For most folks is probably about what it takes. Some folks are going to they're going to have 4 miles a gallon. Some folks are going to have 10 or 15. So $100 a day is about what I figured. $500,000 in fuel expenses. Dude, at
Dude, that
at
is wild.
822 cars, $500,000 in fuel. Who's really making the money here? I think the
Right.
fuel companies. Hey, dude, that Love's truck stops. Come on. Love's or Casey's. Let's do this. Let's have some fun. Let's send all of these drag and drive racers to Love's or Casey's gas stations. I'm telling you,
Yeah,
half $1,000,000 in fuel for the week. Pretty crazy, man.
right. So you're talking between, rough numbers here, hotel, food, and fuel, like $1.2 million dollars
Oh yeah. Easy.
in a week.
And that's just 800 cars. I mean, imagine, I don't even want to start looking at the yearly stuff. The number is big. Robert Voss, I used 210 gallons and 1,100 miles. So at he's $600 worth of fuel, which is, I mean, yeah, yeah, 6 days. So it's about $100 a day. That doesn't include getting to the event, which we burned 2 tanks of gas, get 1.5 tanks of gas in a Toyota Camry getting
Right.
to the event. So I mean,
Not hauling a trailer and a race car. You figure
yeah,
you've got trucks and trailers driving across country.
yeah, yeah, that's exactly right. And merch, I figured $50 a person. I know I spent way more than that on merch, but that's another $40,000 just in merch across each car. So pretty wild. So it's actually more than that if you figure 1,400 people plus spectators plus all that. I would say you have another 150,000 there in merch. So, 1.4 million dollars just in that easy spend. That's not including parts that people buy, fuel or oil and consumables, coolant and tires and all that kind of stuff. So drag and drive is a big deal because it
Hmm.
lasts so much longer than what a normal drag race does. So as you are putting your sponsor decks together for 2025, if you need these numbers, holler at me. Let me know. We can start looking at this, start figuring out which events you're going to do, what kind of economic stimulus that provides to the economy, how many people are there, all that kind of stuff. The reach of the event, everything like that. Well, I'm glad to help. All right, that's kind of our Car Change 3D event. It's just, I don't deep dive into numbers. I don't want to get too nerdy on folks here.
Yeah.
All right, let
All
me
right.
jump. There we go.
All right, so Molly Motorsports. Attention high performance enthusiasts and racers, meet the Molly Motorsports Power Pack Kit, your ultimate solution for power packed performance. The Power Pack pistons are made from either 4032 aluminum alloy to allow for tighter cylinder to wall clearances and improved temperature stability, or the 2618 alloy to allow for increased detonation resistance. Tailored for various engine families from small block Chevy to Volkswagen and Audi, Molly has you covered. What sets them apart? It's their forged pistons, graphol coating, and phosphate treatment for peak performance and durability. Elevate your ride with Molly Motorsports, where performance meets precision. Unleash the power within. Visit mollymotorsports.com for more details. And for our podcast listeners, Molly is spelled Mahle.
Yep. And let's move into the WAF Racing segment here. WAF Racing is a collective of engineers, racers, and hot rod enthusiasts who have come together in one place to create. With passions for racing, hot rodding, cars, and bikes, both classic and new, you just never know what they may be up to. Creating custom parts, tools, and electrical gadgets is just what they like to do. You never know what this eclectic group may have up their sleeves. Check them out at waf-racing.com or on their social media, which we're hoping to send them some more stuff to post over there. They also have a brand new product out, which is really cool. I'm going to play it now, and then we're going to talk about it.
What's in the box? Just some spark plugs. Getting ready for 666. Wanted a sleek little storage box to pack on the trailer for the spare sets of plugs, so here we are.
Dude, I'm telling you, this guy, Chris Wozniak, love you, bro. He's sending a longer video to me in Facebook Messenger later today that basically shows kind of why he's doing this. It's really a good idea because essentially you normally have just boxes of your spark plugs laying in the bottom of your thing. Well, it flattens them and spreads it out, so it's much easier to store than just the box of 4 or, 2 boxes of 8 that kinda becomes this weird square. So you can put these in the bottom of your toolbox and things like that. So he has those coming. He actually has 3 on the video that he showed me earlier, or the picture he sent me earlier, and, it just makes sense, especially for nitrous guys, because this will be way easier to do, carry around, stack, all that kind of stuff. And those guys, they just continue to keep working through and designing new and interesting parts and pieces and all that. So I'm excited to have WAF Racing as a part of our program here.
Yeah, and if he doesn't or hasn't done it yet, he should think about putting magnets on the bottom of those, because then you could kind of stick them in different places too. Maybe like
Mhm.
inside the trailer if you got a little shelf or someplace put a magnet on them will keep them from moving around.
That's genius. All right. We'll make sure to tell him if he's not already watching. He'll be at 666 with these parts and pieces, so we'll need to definitely catch up with him while we're there. That's kind of my plan anyways. All right, well, let's talk about a few more things here with car counts and kind of some interesting stats along the super week.
Yep. So Hot Rod Drag Week, we showed it earlier. Total number of cars was 353. The largest class was the Street Machine Eliminator with 152 cars. There were 32 cars in the 10-second. Like,
I thought that was it was an interesting stat because we always talk about how, obviously largest classes is a big deal. 150 cars, that's a bunch. Uh,
hmm
h- how do you spread that out? That's the next question. So let's move up. 32 cars in the tens is good though, because that means that cars are getting faster. My next goal is to see how that relates in the past.
yeah. So the most competitive class, I think we already probably knew this, street race small block power header. The top three cars were separated by 0.0148.
Yeah,
That's
pretty
super
crazy.
close. Yep.
Yeah,
And then unlimited iron, the top three were separated by 0.268. So when you start talking about, ultimate iron, those are some fast cars too. So to
yeah,
be that close is still pretty awesome.
yep.
And then the smallest class of Hot Rod Drag Week was Hot Rod with two cars, all motor big block A, gas / pro street NA with 5. Those were your smallest classes of Hot Rod Drag Week.
Yeah, the hot rod class having 2 cars in it, I think is a miss on racers, the opportunity there, not just a podium, but to provide more racing in one class. We're gonna have to get better as racers, not as promoters and events, but as racers to think about that kind of stuff. So I think a lot of people just jump in the SME class, the Street Machine Eliminator, because, oh, hey, it's kind of the catch-all.
hmm
But, somebody could have podiumed in hot rod if their car fit by just being in the class.
Yeah.
We
And I'm
got
sure
there.
there were more than two cars that fit the rules for that class.
Oh, for sure. And all motor big block, there were 5 cars in that class. Like, there were no cars in that class on day 1 when he did the driver meeting. There were no cars. So
hmm
you, you guys, like racers, this is on you to figure out, hey, maybe I won't jump into SME. Maybe I'll jump into all motor big block, or A gas is tough because that class is pretty strict, but
hmm
Pro Street NA, I mean, big back tires, 4 link, and naturally aspirated. Like, there were probably several cars in Street Machine Eliminator that would have fit that.
Yeah.
So again, it goes back to how do you do this? How do you get more cars in each class? And that's kind of what Mike Finnegan alluded to a little bit earlier today on the Drag Week 2024 group was how do you him and he was kind of complaining about the lanes being open later, but this is how you do it. You move some cars around, move into a C group and turn your car up a little bit, put a cage in it, go 10.0 to 1150 instead of 1190s. So as we move into the off season, quote unquote, we're going to talk about some of that stuff and how and how to keep up with what class and historical numbers and things like that. Because if Hot Rods only had 2 to 8 cars, you'd be dumb to not jump in that class if you're going to be at Hot Rod Drag Week. So
Yeah.
moving to race week, 232 cars there. They're limited at 250. So that's a huge number. You're 18 cars away from being completely packed. Their largest class, 12.0 index and 14.0 index. So 12.0 index, 38 cars, and 14.0 index, 37 cars. Huge number. Dude, 14.0 index had 37 cars. You don't
Right.
have a fast car to race in drag and drive. Like, damn,
Yeah. Yeah, and
man,
we
that's
and, and
crazy.
we and we talked about those numbers on Wednesdays. All those index classes were won with, you know, point oh something averages. So
Yeah.
it doesn't matter if you're in the 12.0, 13, 14.0, they're all competitive.
Yeah. Yeah, well, Race Week's most competitive class was 13.0 index, with the top 3 cars separated by just 0.0234.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's tight, man, especially on a 13.0 index. Like, those cars are slow by the standards, but y'all, I think there were like 20 something cars in that class.
Yeah.
So
And there
again,
was five
get
or
in where you
six,
fit in. Yeah.
5 or 6.00 something passes in those classes.
Yeah. Yeah. So again, it goes back to don't just jump in something because, oh, that's where everybody else is jumping in. I'm slow, whatever. Start looking at these other events like Race Week. I mean, do they run a 14.0 index?
Mm-hmm.
You can buy like a late model Camaro or Mustang and go do that easily with probably no mods. You're not going to be competitive in it, but you can go run in that class. And then
And
their
still have fun.
smallest, oh yeah, and then their smallest class motorcycle, 2 bikes, which is really strange because they had 12 at Rocky Mountain at 1.0 this year.
Wow.
Huge swing there. So I don't know if they're pulling from the same group, which is kind of a struggle sometimes. If you're, if those 12 motorcycle riders are the only motorcycle riders in drag and drive, it's hard. It's tough for people to do 2 of them. And then the next smallest class was Gasser, which blows my mind. And of course, Rocky Mountain, if you are a gasser racer, you need to be getting your car ready because Mega Week is going to be your time to shine. It's going to be a huge week for that. Rowdy Radial, kind of crazy. I thought there'd be a lot more 235 cars. Ultimate Radial and Junior Street, those 4 classes only had 4 cars each to start the
Wow.
week. So again, play your odds here. If you Ultimate Radio, if you were on a radial and you didn't sign up for Ultimate Radio because those cars are going to be too fast, which they were, but you could have podiumed if somebody fell out. Like, I'm not
Right.
saying play the podium game, but dad gum, like let's spread this out, or it's gonna happen, or stuff is gonna happen like it happens at the circuit, and classes are gonna go away.
Mm-hmm.
That's sad. That's sad when that happens. Redwood Rally, 237 cars, by far their biggest, almost double what they did in 2023. Huge win for those guys. Love to see their success. Largest class, Mind Over Matter, again, kind of a DYO bracket class, 73 cars there. So, a third of their class was in that. The most competitive class, of course, Mind Over Matter. The top 3 were separated by 0.039. Again, it's the spread of your difference in your slowest and fastest, or slowest from your dial in. I can't remember how they do it. Number 2 and 3 in that class were actually tied with a 133 spread.
That's wild.
Pretty wild. The smallest class was the slightly limited, which I kind of thought that's a cool name. So they have unlimited and then slightly limited. There were 3 cars in that class, and it's anything goes, but on a small tire, like a 28-10-5 non-W 275 radio or a 30/9 slick. So again, 3 cars in that class. I mean, is that class going to stay? Did they see some? Yeah, I don't know. That's going to be interesting to see how they handle that kind of stuff.
Yeah. So then we move into some of the records that were set for the week. So for Hot Rod Drag Week, Ultimate Iron, Goldstone took his own record. He took it down from a 6.743 down to a 6.672. And for all the struggles that he had this week to knock down that average, that's pretty impressive.
Yeah.
And then Super Street Big Block Power Adder, Jim Treadle in the 67 Firebird. His average was 7.7001. The old record was George Gallimore in 2016 with a 70 Monte Carlo. That was a 7.741. So again, you're going from 7.741 to 7.700.
Yeah,
So
that's
pretty
how tight it
impressive
is.
again.
Yeah, 400s on the
Yep.
average.
Yep. And then in the Gasser A class, Wayne Baker reset his own record. The old record in 2022 was 8.958, and this year his average was 8.831. So again, dropping that down pretty decent.
Yep, and with 13 classes at Drag Week, to only have 4 classes get reset, show you how hard 20 years worth of racing is
Right.
to reset all that. Race Week records were reset, which is exciting. 14.0 index. Again, these index classes are tough. 14.0 index had a reset, Anthony Watson with a 14.013 down from a 14.025. Huge win there. That 100th is a lot. The 12.0 index, Travis Boltman reset it with a 12.007 down from a 12.0146.
That's going to be tough to beat.
Oh, dude, how do you get out of here? I think Race or Rocky Mountain has like a 12.005 or something crazy from one year. So, and the guy made like 87 passes that week. Literally, I think it was
Right.
10.0 index. Travis Urbach, winner of the 2023 event, comes out, resets the record, 10.0119 down from a 10.020. So huge swing there. That's almost a full 100th change there. Eric Kuhn reset the ultimate radial record with a 7.499 down from a 7.633. And then our boy in hot rod class, Walter Doyle, way to go, Walt, 8.767 down from an 8.9538. That's, man, love that. That dude has done a ton of events this year. We probably need to have him on at some point because I think this is their third or fourth week long event that they've done this year.
Wow.
Yeah. Yep. And then we'll have the full spreadsheet next week, hopefully by Wednesday night for Redwood Rally. So I can see they do a live results. So they run a different format. So there's not like a traditional spreadsheet that I can pull from and just simply look back. I've got to physically manipulate all of it. I did not have time to get to that. So Redwood Rally, we'll have some records for that because I'm sure there's some classes that dropped in ET, but I'm interested to see because one of the race days they ran 8th mile in some of their quarter mile classes. So it's going to be interesting to see how that falls. And, we'll use like a I don't know, timetable or something, or I guess we could probably compare it just directly to last year's time. So we'll see. I
Yeah.
don't know. I got to get the spreadsheet for that.
Yep. All right. Do you know what time it is? Time to thank all of the race car friends. That's you guys watching, you guys commenting. Thank you guys for being a part of the show this week and every week. And thanks to our sponsors, Summit Racing Equipment, Molly Motorsports, Driven Racing Oil, Car Chains 3D, WAF Racing, Performabuilt Transmissions, J-Wire Solutions, Howard's Cam, Sweet Patina, Power Tube TV, and Racing Junk. Thank you guys. And we talk about this every week. The gentleman's agreement is we are going to continue doing these deep dives on stats, providing you all kinds of information, entertainment. All we ask is that you guys like these, share these out to your friends, invite people to the Race Car Friends Facebook group. Let's just help grow this community. We still got a bunch of stuff to cover, so
I know we got to get jamming. So PowerTube TV, they are the one of our newest partners. Obviously, we provide a ton of content over there for them. So rev up your engines with PowerTube TV, the ultimate destination for automotive entertainment. Stream for free on the web, Roku, mobile apps, and more. Catch replays of our shows and exclusive content from top creators. Also featuring classics like Pink's, Pastime, and a ton of original shows. PowerTube TV isn't just a platform, it's a community. Join the content creator program and be part of something special. Find more at watchpttv.com.
oh yeah. And our newest sponsor, obviously J-Wire, we announced that at Hot Rod Drag Week. Expert car and marine wiring solutions that you can trust. J-Wire Solutions can wire and plumb your hot rod, race car, or drag and drive car. Plus, they offer products to make your driving experience better, like the blinker module that is a must for all drag and drive cars. The module will allow your rear turn signals to continue to function while the brake pedal is applied, just like stock. Again, thank you to J-Wire for being our latest sponsor.
Yeah, I'm excited for him. And then let's talk about the Performabuilt transmission segment here. Performabuilt is the official transmission builder of Drag Driver Pete. At Performabuilt Transmissions, the goal is to engineer and build the toughest transmissions on the planet. They don't just rebuild transmissions. Performabuilt systematically re-engineers each model to eliminate OEM flaws and to achieve the highest levels of performance. This is why they say their transmissions are not just built, they're Performabuilt. And I want to give a big shout out to Ryan. His 4L60 transmission actually is behind or in a Camaro, and it holds the quickest 4L60 record. So pretty crazy, like low eights or high sevens, something like that, and they're shooting for mid sevens in a 4L60. So everybody talks about how they're all neutrals, all that kind of stuff, and he's got it figured out. So if you would like a better first gear than a 4L80 offers, then hit up Ryan and them those guys at Performa Built.
For sure. All right.
For sure.
For this segment, we're going to talk again about some more stats. We're going to talk about the quickest 3 of each event. So I'll start out with the Hot Rod Drag Week. The quickest, obviously, we know that was Bryant Goldstone. His average was that 6.6718 with a best ET of 6.507, which is a new single pass record. Second place was Alex Taylor with an average of 6.8452 with a best ET of 6.799, which was within 0.008 of her best drag and drive ET at Sick Week in 2024. Continues as the fastest female in drag and drive. And third place was Steven Spees with an average of 6.9. 405 with a best ET of 6.831. Again, that was the Ford powered Nova. That thing was pretty awesome.
Yeah, we talked to Mike Galemi about that on Wednesday night on episode 82. Super cool setup. Well, let's talk about quickest race week cars. Eric Kuhn took the number 1 spot there with his 55. Love that car. Average of a 7.4993, which is a new record also for that class. I think Ultimate Radial was his class. Best ET of a 743. Earl Schneider, I think that's how you say it. SCHEXNAYDER. He's told me before. I'm sorry, dude. Average of 7.6389 with a best ET of 7.183. And then Brad Thiessen, dude, come on, let's go, buddy. I'm excited for him. In his average, number 3 in the quickest, 8.173 to round out the race week with a best ET of 7.699. Dude, that guy got down, man. That's exciting.
Yeah.
And then Redwood Rally, the quickest 3 there. Again, second time in a row. Shane Probst won it all. He's the overall quickest. Again, 4.613 average, best ET of a 4.434. Obviously, there are eighth mile stuff here. Mike Grady next up with an average of 5.324 with a best ET of 5.189. This one's kind of interesting because you've got 2 folks that are really close. So Tyler Coranda with an average of 5.502 and Will Ruska with an average of 5.503. Kind of round it to your top 3.5. Top 4, because those are so close. I mean, they're within a thousandth of each other, and they were in the same class.
Oh wow!
So that'll be a fun story to look at as they get, as we figure out who was leading and throughout the week and can tell that story. So this is just, I want Jesse and Heather to come on at some point and talk about their event. The same with Matt and Adam Dory.
All right, as we wind down here, we're going to finish out the segment with our Found on Racing Junk. Again, guys, Racing Junk is our official buy, sell, trade partner for Drag Drive Repeat. We do not allow for sale posts in the Race Car Friends group. If you try to post it, we will not allow it to go through, so don't try. This is where we go to look for things. So we are up to 36 cars in that drag and drive category. How cool is that?
That's awesome, man. That is awesome. And again, big shout out to Racing Junk for putting that together.
Yep. So this car I'm about to show, I think everybody knows this car, but maybe doesn't know that it's for sale. But this is a great opportunity. 1974 Opel Manta, 60,000. You've seen this car at the Havlik Shootout. You've seen it at PRI and booths before. Here's your chance to own a unique car that you can drag and drive today. I don't think 60,000 is crazy. Looking at the pictures, I mean, dude.
Yeah, that car's super cool.
Awesome.
It's about the size of this table that's in front of me.
Yeah. Yep. So Obviously, this is in Iowa. This is the Havlicks vehicle. It's a 74 Opel Manta, certified this year. Current cert tag is a 6.0 all chromoly. It's got a fresh 600-inch big block Chevy, 15-to-1 compression, profiler tunnel ram with two 1250 Dominators. It's 1,050 horsepower on the dyno, dual plate nitrous system that comes with the heater, bottles, and controller. It's a reed case, shorty power glide with a gear vendor, chromoly rear end, Moser, 40 spline spool and axles. Again, you can scroll through there. You can see all the stuff on there. Dual chutes, 74-inch
Oh,
wheelie bars.
I thought that said wheelbase. I was like, God dang, that is the size of this table.
Yeah. Um, I like this part. Has a trailer hitch, large fuel cell, dual battery, and USB charging ports, cup holders. And when you're talking about a drag and drive car, those are important features.
Yeah.
So this is a amazing opportunity for somebody
Yeah.
to get a very cool drag and drive car that's pretty well known out in the community. So
Yeah.
good luck to the Havlicks with selling that. I hate to see them get rid of it, but I'm sure they're not getting rid of it without having something else in mind.
Well, and with the event they're hosting, who knows what they're. I mean, that could be money to help fund the streetcar shootout.
Yeah.
So good luck to them. If you are definitely looking for something like that, that's the way to do it right there. Well, dude, let's wrap up. We're only late by a minute. That's not too bad.
No, not at all.
Well, guys, again, thank you so much for being our race car friends. Thank you for being here this morning. We really appreciate it. You guys are awesome. I say it all the time, but it really helps with motivation at midnight. I mean, literally a story last night, midnight. I can't do it anymore. My eyes are crossing. I'm trying to finish the day 3 video. Like, I can't do this anymore. Maybe it was 11. And then I see somebody make a comment somewhere. I'm like, okay, I can do another 10 minutes. I can do another 10 minutes. And then it was midnight before I went to bed. So that's the way it goes sometimes. So thank you so much to our race car friends that are out there. And then thank you so much to our sponsors that are here for us, man. We really appreciate everybody. Summit Racing, Molly Motorsports, Driven Racing Oil, Car Change 3D, WAF Racing, Performer Built Transmissions, J-Wire Solutions, Howard's Cams, Sweet Patina, Power Tube TV, Racing Junk Classifieds. Y'all, if you have an opportunity to spend some money, please spend it with these folks first, or at least try to. Go find their page, follow them on social media, see what they got going on. We would appreciate that so much. So all right, guys. Thanks so much. I did see Danny Fatkus saying, how about the top bottom as in the slowest? I had planned to do all of those, but it just didn't work out for this episode because we were going to be so tight on time. So we're probably going to talk about that. I want to talk about slow cars and how much fun they are. We may do that on Wednesday night, episode 83 of the Drag Driver Pete Show. All right, guys. See ya.
See you later.
Sweet. Dude.